Hi there. Thanks for inviting me here. So my name is Vignesh. I head the business for a company called Hedera. We are a layer 1 blockchain. Been in the industry for almost 7-8 years. And I focus on the Middle East region. So I'm part of the venture fund of Hedera. It's called the Hedera Foundation, one of the largest Web3 ecosystem funds in the world. So today we're going to deep dive about the asset tokenization on Hedera, why you have to build on Hedera, right? So we have some frameworks and tools which I'm briefly touch upon and would like to have people to build on us. So before that, let me take you through what is Hedera. So Hedera is a layer 1 distributed ledger technology. It's founded in 2018 by Dr. Lehman Bird, a computer scientist, basically based in the US. And he started the hashgraph algorithm. And based on that, the entire chain has been developed. We got live in 2019. And now we are one of the top L1 chains in the world. We have like close to 7 billion market cap. You can check it online. So what makes Hedera different? So the key differentiation is, I think we are the only chain which is run by global companies. So when I say companies, these guys run our network. They run a node with us, and they basically decide the future of the network. So we already have companies like Google, IBM, Dell. So they're all part of our network. And these kind of institutions backing basically gives a lot of credibility for our chain. So we already have 6 institutions. We have companies like Aberdeen, Australian Payments Network, Shinhan Bank, Standard Bank, Worldpay, and Nomura, who are part of our governing council. So these governing council members, they decide how the chain has to move in terms of how the treasury has to be allocated, how the governance is, how the treasury is managed, how the technology has to be managed, and basically they drive the roadmap of the technology. So key features of Hedera. So we already have high performance. We achieved 10,000 TPS, finality in seconds, which is very, very important, especially in the financial side of things. We have high security with the highest security of ABFT. And our consensus is non-leader based, fair ordering. In that way, it gives a lot of security for the DApps. In terms of stability, the layers are written such a way that you don't need to fork, because that is very important, because you keep forking stuff, then it's very difficult for institutions to basically build on you. And the other advantage is the stability and price stable. So our fees are very much stable. It's basically pegged to USD. In that way, you can actually predict your cost instead of surge pricing. So that is very, very important in terms of institutions. Governance, as I mentioned before, we are governed by global companies, academic institutions, Web3, Web2, the best in the world. So they're all part of our network. Most of them are Fortune 500 companies. They give a lot of credibility for us. So that is the governance that we have, and that is very, very important. And finally, sustainability. We are one of the carbon negative infrastructure, and our lowest carbon footprint per transaction. So it has been proven by UCL London. And also, we basically offset our limited water carbon credits through carbon credits. So some of the numbers. So Hedera is the most used network by transaction count. So it's been proven already. Fixed affordable fees. So we don't have surge pricing. So in that way, for institutions, companies to build on us, you don't need to worry about the gas fees. Of course, you have to pay in HBAR, but the fees is fixed and denominated in USD. So it's good for institutions. Basically, they want to build their business, right? So they don't like to have surge pricing based on the crypto price. So that is very, very important. So I think that's one of the key features of Hedera. Other thing is the finality. The finality is 3.5 seconds. And that's important, especially if you look into micropayments and the payments where the throughput is important and the finality has to happen in seconds. The settlement time is very, very fast, and it's already been proven. And also the high availability. So you're building a large-scale production implementation, big implementation, then to make sure that the network is fully available. You can't be in a situation where it goes down, the chain goes down. That will be basically a major catastrophe, right? So that's why we have been 100% high available since we are live. And so we have high availability, 100% uptime. And compared to other chains, you see the network over there. And also the green POS network, the efficiency has the consensus. And so the cost per transaction is very, very less. And also, we also committed to being a carbon negative public network. So we do purchase carbon credits to offset the small amount of emissions. And is the proven by UCL Center for Blockchain Technology, is the report by them. So as a core, if you see, is the hashgraph consensus. That's the core algorithm. Above that is the Hedera chain, where we have the networks nodes that's been operated by a governing council. Then key three services, we have the consensus service, which is specifically focused toward notarization. We have the token service. You want to create utility token, loyalty token, anything. So we have a inbuilt notarization service, the token service, sorry. Then we have the smart contract service. This is the EVM-based, modified EVM-based, so that we can support smart EVM-based smart contracts. Above that, we have the toolkits, which we think is very, very important, especially for developers, because certain abstraction has to be given, so that's easy for them to create their dApps. So first is the DID SDK. It's a decentralized identity SDK. That's for somebody who want to leverage the decentralized identification around verifiable credentials and all that. Guardian OS is an abstract layer specifically focused towards the sustainability assets, about carbon credits, anything to do with that, you use Guardian, which is basically for creation and tracking of sustainability-focused assets, right? And you also have Stablecoin Studio, which is for creating your own stablecoin. And also, finally, on the Asset Tokenization Studio, which is predominantly focused towards anything to do with assets, RWAs. So we have all the frameworks built, ready, and anybody to use it. Above that, you have the dApps. We have companies already, institutions, governments, companies, startups, building on us, using all these layers, different layers, and we are here to support many more projects. So if you look into the Hedera Asset Tokenization Studio, so we see there's a great market here. We have been talking to asset managers, institutions, issuers, enterprises. So we see a lot of interest, and we have started seeing it from 2023. One of the issues that we see is, some of the user experience in the current way, how the DLTs are structured, is not great. And there is also technical and operational complexity in most of this, the current state, right? And basically, because of this, a lot of institutions are finding it hard to basically tokenize some of the assets, or they want to bring those assets on chain. So that's why we thought there is a gap, and that we wanted to address. That's why we set up this Asset Tokenization Studio, and it's basically a framework and open source tool infrastructure that's been already there. We are working with some of our partners, company like Red Swan, which is a tokenization company, IO Builders, one in Spain. Hashgraph is our engineering company. So we come together to form this open source framework. Ideally, it's easy to use toolkit so that people can start using it. They don't have to worry too much on the technical side. All they want is to basically create and issue assets, right? So it will be useful for financial institutions, banks, hedge fund managers, enterprise issuers who want to build on it, asset tokenization platforms who want to leverage, and issue assets, enable developers and issuers to issue their assets on the chain, and of course, the dev shops. So what we have done is we have taken a supercharged approach on ERC 1400, and so basically, it is good. But what we are trying to do is we want to make it more modular, especially if we want to make some changes to something like a bonds and equities. We need to have some kind of specific actions and task data off-chain. So we have built a layer around it to make it modular and make it more easy and for the needs of the current financial ecosystem. And so with these modules, we can do coupons, KYC, whitelisting, everything on-chain, so that not only covers the compliance part, and also making sure that it's easy for the asset issuers to use our technology. So the asset tokenization can be accessed in two ways. One is the UI. We have the web UI. We also have the SDK. It's open source under Apache license. It is already available on GitHub, and the smart contracts have been audited. So the idea is, as I mentioned before, the key benefits is simplifying the tokenization process. It's an abstract layer, so enables people to basically simplify the tokenization process, saves time and money. So for companies, they don't want to touch too much on all this, doing all the bridges. We're making it simple for them. And the role management. So basically, you need some roles and management for the keys in the wallets, some whitelisting, KYC, so on-chain compliance. Everything is being taken care of by this abstract layer. And of course, I mentioned before, support for equity and bonds. That requires a bit of additional modular components that has been basically developed through this Asset Tokenization Studio. And finally, and the support for US SEC Regulation D and Regulation Ns, so that we make sure that's compliant, straightforward. And we'll be extending this to other jurisdictions as well as we move forward. So as you say, so we have the base layer, which is based on ERC 1400 and other standards. Now above that, we are defining a specific module for bonds, like defining the coupons and equity, giving dividends to your dividends and stuff. So we can actually you can actually use the Asset Tokenization Studio to customize your bond issuance, products, and share customization, so many other things, so that it will be useful for companies to just come on board and easy and use the platform to easily basically provide their list their assets. So getting started, we have everything online. So we have the teaser, GitHub, web page, everything is there. You go to hedera.com, you go through a site. So we have a developer toolkit. Everything is straightforward with all the API docs. So it's easy to use. So beyond this, we are looking at, we have a very strong capital market ecosystem globally. So these are some of the partners that we work with, the startups, governments, anything you ask us. So we work with all the major ones globally. So we work with Archax, FCA-regulated digital asset exchange, broker and custodian. So we're working with them on issuing the money market fund on Hedera. It's already started. We've already, sorry, they already integrated with Hedera. Red Swan company basically focus on real estate tokenization. We work with them as well. They're also one of our partners. Zonix, another company, which is again focusing on on-chain compliance and also building a real estate tokenization platform, and we are working with them as well. And OpenBreak is another company based out of Spain, that kind of Latin market. They're also for bringing the tools. And we have also integrated with them, specifically focused towards the EU license, EU market. Finally, Tokeny is very famous, and they have the ERC 3643, which I think will be one of the future, widely used standard for RWA issuance. We work with them very closely, and we are also working with them on a couple of other projects where we use their standard. We use Tokenization platform integrated with Hedera, and we're working with some other companies to basically tokenize their assets. And Evercity is another company based again, I think UAE. They're focusing on creating frameworks around bond tokenization and end-to-end solution for bond issuance and monitoring for climate assets. So these are some of the different projects we work with. We are looking to work with more projects. I'm here in Turkey just to understand, to work with entrepreneurs, and to see how we can work with them through investments, grants, and also through partnership. Thanks again for your time. Here, you can reach out to me anytime, so much appreciated. And this is my email ID. If you want to reach out about your projects, happy to discuss and see how we can help you. Thank you. Thanks again for your time.